Hey guys, it's Abby. How are you guys doing tonight? Tonight we have the next chapter in our tales of Pam and Bruce and their adventures in the smoking fetish lifestyle. Tonight we hear about the ladies of the Leaf Club, the cigar club that Pam goes to. Um, so, uh, Without further ado, I will get this started. It says, Abby, you must try to smoke a cigar when you read this. Well, I'm not ready for a cigar, I guess, just yet. I'm not sure. I may at some point, but I'm not going to today. So this is brown. We'll go with that. It's close. Go to a local cigar store. Please do not smoke a cigar with a plastic tip like you get at the gas station. Maybe you could smoke it outside like in today's video. Remember, don't inhale. Your yard looks very nice. Pam. Thank you, Pam. My first trip to the FLR Club for the Ladies of the Leaf Cigar Night. The building was a two-story plain brick building from about the 1950s. Only the street address was displayed on the outside of the building. There was limited parking in front only for a taxi or Uber, with more valet parking at the rear. I exited the Uber and entered the building. The ventilation was very good. You could smell the cigar smoke when you entered, but it was not stale or overwhelming, just a light, enticing whiff. All phones and coats were taken just inside the door by a young man that was fully dressed. I found out on FLR nights the doorman would have been naked with only his device. I had brought my favorite cigar tonight. You can bring your own cigar, but many buy at the event, with the proceeds going back to support the ladies of the Leaf Club. Each night, a different cigar would be showcased. There was a full bar with some drinks that were recommended to complement the featured cigar. As I waited for Blanche to find and greet me, I saw a bulletin board. This bulletin board had pictures and information on males that were available to the young ladies that did not yet have their own males. Some males were for rent for a small fee, most for free for the weekend. Information on size, bi, gay or straight, and specialties like foot worship or smoking fetish was given. Information on where and when to pick up both them and their keys was displayed. Oral skills were rated from 1 to 10, or if he was available for evenings, weekends, or longer term service. And of course, the ladies' name that you would contact to arrange this. I knew why all the guests had to be vetted before entering the building. This was very intimate information. A vanilla woman could be easily offended just by the bulletin board. The main hall was huge. It could hold at least 250 people. The ladies of the Leaf had a very good turnout of about 70 to 80 people. The ladies sat 5 to 6 to a table with a heavy glass ashtray in front of each lady. The young men took drink orders and delivered charcuterie boards of smoked meat. I have no idea what that word is. I've never heard them called that. But anyway, Boards of smoked meat and cheeses, dates, olives, and crackers. The smoke went from the cigar went straight up to the ceiling. Blanche greeted me at the entrance to the hall, and then we walked to our table. I did not realize that Blanche was the vice president of the Ladies of the Leaf. She made a joke that she was in charge of vice. Blanche stopped frequently to talk to her friends on the way to the head table and introduced me to them. I sat at her table close to the microphone. After we sat down, the president and her guest arrived. I stood and was introduced to them. She informed me that all guests would be introduced to the group. I would have to stand up, first names only. We would begin by a short business meeting and move into the cigar of the night. I was introduced with about 6 other new ladies. The business meeting was short with information about their next event. I found the upcoming summer outdoor picnic of interest. It is to be held at a local nudist beach. It was announced that clothing was not optional. The cigar of the night presenter was a lady in charge of their education section of the club. Blanche said she was a senior guard at a local federal penitentiary. She looked like a lady not to be trifled with. She introduced the cigar of the night, a Cohiba Nicaragua. Blanche said this year we were smoking our way around Central America. The presenter talked about the 3 different categories used to describe a cigar. They are strength, body, and flavor. The flavors are the taste of the tobacco. Body is the impact on your palate. The term body describes how the smoke feels in your mouth or nose if you retrohale the smoke. Strength describes the amount of nicotine in the smoke. Too strong a cigar can make you lightheaded. You don't inhale the smoke, but the nicotine can still affect you. It is a common misconception that a dark wrapper is a strong cigar. The wrapper of this cigar came from Nicaragua, as did the binder and the filler. Our selection tonight came in 4, 6, and 8-inch lengths with corresponding ring gauge sizes of 50, 52, and 60. A video camera was used for the close-up of the cigar, and 2 huge screens were used to show the cigar to the audience. You could hear the other ladies unwrapping their cigars. I decided to return my cigar I brought with me to my purse and called over our waiter, Sam, to buy the cigar of the night. I selected the smallest, a 6-inch by 52 cigar. The lady demonstrated cutting off the cigar with a guillotine cutter. If you cut too much off, the cigar will unravel when you smoke it. And then she did something I have not seen before. She toasted the end of the cigar. Blanche explained to me the advantage of toasting before lighting the cigar. The presenter used a cedar wooden match to light the cigar. Apparently, the cedar match does not give you any aftertaste that a butane lighter can. Alright, stop there for a second. Bust out another smoky smoke. I feel like the camera is too far away. I don't know. Blanche explained that she was a bit of a purist and the toasting and the cedar match was not really necessary. A young, fully clothed man attended each table. He cut the cigar, toasted it, and lit each lady. I noticed no money changed hands. Blanche said a bill would be sent to each lady after the meeting. Many ladies just charged their husband's credit card on file. Afterwards, he took away the wrappers and the used matches from the table. Some ladies cut and lit their own. Most used the services of the young males. Sam, our waiter, cut, toasted, and lit our cigars. I found the cigar very pleasant and mild, but different from the cigar I had brought from home. The red wine I was drinking went down very well, almost too well. Each time my glass was less than half full, Sam would top it off. I would have to say I noticed Paul, Mistress Rachel's manservant, at a few tables away. I barely recognized him with his clothing on. I remarked to Blanche that I could see Mistress Rachel's manservant serving at another table. Yes, she said, Paul's mistress is not here tonight. She has a pilot friend visiting tonight, but she always sends Paul. I like to see him on FLR nights, Blanche remarked. He has such great muscles. Yes, I said. I have seen all his muscles, and I smiled. On the nights for the ladies of the Leaf, they are fully clothed. I hope you get invited to an FLR night when they would all be naked and in chastity. Blanche said some FLR nights are themed nights, like pony night. The young men wear leather harnesses, hoofs, and tails. I like how they prance around and make their tails wave, she said. Blanche took a long drag of her cigar and exhaled through her nose. We ladies get to dress up in our boots and riding jodhpurs and carry short quirts. How do they keep their tails on? Oh, they use inflatable plugs, Blanche said. The really fun part is when we have cart races around the room and bet on the fastest woman and her pony cart. Blanche's voice went up an octave when she told me about the Arabian harem nights the FLR hosts. On Arabian nights, we use the hookahs to smoke. Her personal favorite event is dyke night, when each lady got to wear her favorite strap-on. Blanche pointed out a tall lady with red hair 2 tables over. She was enjoying the largest cigar I have ever seen, at least 10 inches. That is Heather. She is a veterinarian, Blanche said. She keeps a stable of ponies at her farm. Blanche emphasized the word ponies. I have been there. Their training is very rigorous, Blanche said. This room has excellent ventilation, I remarked to change the subject. Yes, Blanche said. One of our members is a ventilation engineer. She designed this system. On FLR nights, about half the members smoke cigars or cigarettes, and there is an air curtain that separates the smokers from the non-smokers. It's very effective, but how do you get away with smoking inside? I asked. This is a private club, Pam. It's like smoking in your own home. Besides, all the things we do here and in the back rooms, reporting us for smoking is the least of our worries. I turned my head and saw the small rooms off to the side. I could make out the names of some of the doors. The Marquise de Sade room, the Betty Page room, and the room named after Annie Sprinkle. One door was painted green and named after Marilyn Chambers. I saw that movie, that explicit movie, as a young lady. I remember to this day the famous line, "Do you mind if I smoke while you eat?" I have used that line on my Bruce many times. One room was just called the Victoria Room. I asked Blanche what the Victoria Room was for. She responded, very matter of fact, "Medical place," she said. I guess I should have known that. Above the door to this room hung a portrait of my Aunt Victoria. It was about 4 feet by 5 feet. I would need to get a closer look when I went to the ladies' room later. I said to Blanche, "I noticed on the bulletin board that there are gay young men that have entered into this FLR lifestyle. Please explain. I don't understand." "Yes, Pam. It's just for the straight young men. For example, Sam, the young man I have working at the cigar shop, is gay. I rescued him from 2 very vile and evil daddy bears that had been abusing him horribly for years. I had to put him in a full chastity belt, not just the device, for over a year after he came to be in my service. The blonde lady Ruth over there at that table also has a gay young man in her service. We get them together once a week so they can have a play date together. We supervise them when they get together, of course." "Do you let them out of their devices?" I asked. "We didn't for the first 6 months, Pam. We only let them use strap-ons on each other. But now, when they do the Devil's Tango, they are fully released. It is so nice to watch them play. They are so loving and gentle with each other now. They are now very respectful to each other and, of course, us. We would never try to change their orientation, Pam. That would be very wrong. But you have to break the cycle of abuse, or they would have turned out to be very bad men and abused other young gay men in the future. A female-led relationship is not only about control, it is about education and respect. I must say, having Sam in the house has really improved my pegging skills," Blanche said. "You have met Sam. He is the young man that is serving us at our table tonight." My mind wandered to the sight of 2 grandmothers sitting in their living room, smoking cigars, drinking tea, and watching their 2 young gay couple men copulate. After my cigar was about half smoked, I placed it in my ashtray, made my excuses, and then went to the ladies' room. It was magnificent. All brass fixtures, mirrors, tiles, and fresh-cut flowers. A handsome young man stood there giving out soft, warm, fresh towels. No paper towels for these ladies. 2 of the many stalls had no door or toilet, just a tiled hole in the floor, yet they were strangely outfitted with hand grab bars. I noticed that the washroom had underfloor heating. It was warm in the washroom. I guess they were having those toilets fixed. As I left the ladies' room, I was almost run over by a young lady in a French maid uniform. Her ankles were hobbled with a leather strap just above her 4-inch black stilettos. The leather strap caused her to only take short, ladylike steps. She almost dropped the tray of empty glass on her way back to the kitchen. I walked by the portrait of my aunt as I returned to my table. I looked at her for some time. We do look very similar. I got a lump in my throat. I hope I can be half the woman she was. I'm going to ask my mother to see my aunt's medals in the near future. I noticed as I walked back to my table, some of the ladies used a holder made for the size of a cigar they were smoking. I could see where that would be useful to keep the flecks of tobacco off your lips. I recognized Melissa, a quiet nurse from obstetrics. We waved at each other. I would have never thought she smoked cigars. Her nickname was Mouse Melissa. I wondered if she had a man under lock and key. Sometimes it's the quiet ones that really surprise you. When I got back to the table, my cigar had gone out. I had just picked it up from the ashtray when Sam was at my side with a match to relight me. How thoughtful. After 3 hard pulls on the cigar to get it going, I asked Blanche about the stalls in the ladies' room that had no doors or toilets. She asked me if I had ever heard of water sports. I said, like skiing behind a boat? Blanche took a long drag on her cigar, exhaled, made 3 of the most perfect smoke rings I've ever seen, and placed the cigar in her ashtray. She said, "Pam, come closer." She explained in a low voice water sports to me. It seems a number of the ladies, after a few drinks, really enjoy using the males in that way. So many of the males volunteered for this duty that they had to make up a roster and take turns. Abby, while I don't kink shame, I could see that if my mother saw that behavior, she would have been offended and not talk to my aunt ever again. Blanche explained that each lady would leave a $20 tip for this service. The expression on my face caused Blanche to say this extra service was only offered during an FLR night, not during our meetings like tonight. I have always wanted to do that, but I am not sure I could do that to my Bruce. At the end of the night, I asked if I should leave a tip on the table for the waiter. Blanche said yes, I should, but the young man would not get it. I looked surprised, and Blanche said all tips from the tables, coat check, valet, parking, and washroom that are collected go to a charity for abused women here in the city. It's our way of giving back. She explained as she rolled the ash off her cigar. In fact, many, if not most of the men that volunteer for washroom service are reformed abusers of women. We have a few lady judges on the bench here in this city that often assign this type of community service for certain young men that need correction. Before they are assigned to us, they are sent to a lady counselor that is also part of the FLR. She makes sure that she selects candidates that we can, well, let's say we can help. The others are just sent to prison. We find if we get to them early, we can break the cycle of abuse. It's a great way to correct their bad behavior. Many like it and stay on, often getting selected as a manservant for a lady here after their community service is over, of course. You should be here for a graduation. It's called a collaring ceremony. That seems fair, I said, and I took a long drag on my cigar and played with the smoke as I exhaled. I asked Blanche if any other ladies keep young ladies in their service. Blanche exclaimed that that would be very wrong and against the charter of the FLR. Even the most timid young women were worth a dozen males. But I was sure I saw a young lady over there, dressed in French maid's uniform. I almost ran into her on my way back from the ladies' room. Ugh. Need another smoke, guys. This is a long one. Blanche got a puzzled look on her face and then said, "Oh, that is Melissa's Robert," or as she now called him, Roberta. "She has made him into a sissy." I have been told that she no longer has him wear a chastity device, or more correctly, he cannot wear a device. Blanche dangled her cigar, took her index finger and middle finger, and made a scissor motion with them, while saying snip, snip, if you know what I mean. I understand that she is going to build him a mangina. It is the quiet ones that surprise you, I thought. Blanche explained that tonight's turnout was just above average, but next month's meeting we are flying in the famous and beautiful Ramona Brown, the cigar lady. She has done hundreds of YouTube videos on cigar smoking. She will pack this place with ladies from other chapters of the Ladies of the Leaf in nearby cities coming to hear her. Last year, we had Miss Delica Siva. She is called the Cigar Vixen. Also very popular on YouTube. She was very entertaining. She travels the world for a good smoke. As a fundraising project, we are producing a lady and cigar calendar for next year. As the meeting broke up, the president thanked all in attendance, asked them to fill out the survey online for the cigar of the night, and reminded the ladies to either crush out the cigar stub here or take them home. They had been getting complaints of cigar stubs in the parking lot. I had a great time. Many of the ladies went to the bar to pick a handful of tonight's featured cigars to take home. I hope to get invited to a full-blown FLR night. Blanche said the next one was Dyke Night. I thanked Blanche for the wonderful night and gave her a big hug. I picked up my phone and coat at the door and called my Uber to take me home. I texted Bruce that I was on my way home. When I arrived home, Bruce was waiting for me, opened the door of the Uber, and let me in the house. Once we were settled in the bedroom, I told him about my night and I let him smell my cigar-scented fingers and hair. I explained water sports to him. There was no need for me to smoke a cigarette tonight. And that is all. Pam. All right, Pam. Well, that sounds like a very interesting night, I must admit. The plot definitely thickens, especially with your aunt. She sounds like a very interesting woman, to say the least. Thank you very much for sharing, as always. We enjoy hearing from you. Don't forget to send us more updates when you can. I know you're busy between planning your wedding and joining all these new clubs. So whenever you have time, send it on in, and we will see you guys real soon. Bye.